Welcome to Stealth School. In this one, I'm going to teach you how to be the ghost of Trotsky in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. First things first, I want to draw your attention to the stats that we need to worry about when it comes to being able to get started, especially while your stats are low, is you need to make sure that your noise and visibility are low. Invariably, this is actually going to make your conspicuousness go high because the guards are going to find you more and more suspicious the more stealthy you are. This means that they're going to want to search you more often, and basically means you need to stay out of sight for the entirety of the time that you tend to be thieving, because otherwise they're going to get a random search and hey, they take all of your stolen stuff off of you and then you've not really made much. Although to begin with, the main thing we're worried about is getting experience so that we can get better at this, and it gets a lot easier as soon as you get a few levels. By the time you've hit level 10, everything becomes super simple. So you can see as I move around on my gear here, the stats down there change, and you really want noise to be below 12. If you can get it to 10, that's great. If that means you've got to remove a hat or you've got to remove gloves, that is going to be ideal. Visibility is second priority to noise because you can actively stay out of sight, whereas whilst you're moving around and trying to get close to people, noise is what's going to make you get caught out. When it comes to leveling up our skills then, the ones obviously we are worried about in this video is going to be stealth and thievery. These go together. They level up together pretty much. We're just going to do these as one video. Stealth rises when you are successfully making actions in restricted areas. So if you're moving around a restricted area and you're doing stuff, that's going to improve your stealth. If you're picking locks and this other stuff, that's also going to increase your stealth, but it's going to be better if you're in a forbidden area. So that's going to make it go up faster, but it will always just go up as and when you're doing it. Thievery is going to go anytime that you pick a lock or you pick a pocket. To start with, we're going to be picking locks. Now, don't worry about mine being high. I'm going to show you how you can get around and start farming this really easily. It may take a couple of laps per se. This is going to be the easiest and simple way that you can start getting that experience for your thievery. Now that we've got both of those two identified, and no, I'm not starting a third character just to do this again. I've already done this twice. If you want the step-by-step on how this character got to here, that video is up on the channel and will be the end screen of this video. I'm going to suggest that we start in Tachov, and we're going to make it daytime. We've got two reasons for this. First one is we get some free lockpicks up here. If we just come out of the bed that we get from the blacksmith and head up this ladder right here, in the daytime, the lady that normally sleeps here will not be here, and you'll find lockpicks on this barrel. They don't break too often, so long as you're not trying to do locks that are a little bit beyond your level. And to start with, we really want to only be targeting very easy locks. Of course, you can take anything else from in here that you want to do. So that medium there, if you haven't started lockpicking yet, even if it lets you do it, just leave it alone. You're just going to break your lockpicks. It's going to be frustrating. Don't do it. Whilst it is, in fact, daytime, there is something else that we want to do, and we want to go and mug a guard. This is because I don't know what clothing you have or anything else that you want out of this video, and we are going to go over getting ourselves some loot. So we're going to come on to the back end of the tavern here, and it's very important that people do not see you climbing the ladder we're about to go to. In fact, the less people that see or acknowledge you, the better. So we're just going to make sure we leave lots of space around before we head on up. So this is the ladder that we want, just in case you guys need a map reference. We are at the back end of the tavern, and we're going to head up here. Don't worry too much about the dog. Nobody really comes to check on it. Everyone seems more annoyed with it than anything. And immediately drop into stealth. Now, if you're very low level in stealth, make sure you're going slowly. Don't do the fast stealthing. Make sure you go nice and slow. If you have a savvy schnapps, now might be a good time to take one. But this guard is in here on his own. If you try doing this at nighttime, this place is full of people, and that is just not going to be ideal. We're going to get in and we're going to knock him out. This is going to give you your first bit of stealth XP. You probably won't level yet, but it is just going to allow you to start getting some stuff. We've got some pretty quiet hoses here, so if you didn't have trousers before, you do now. And then you can use the key to unlock all of the chests in here. Now, whilst this isn't upgrading your thievery, it is going to be upgrading your stealth. So we want to go through here and loot all of the chests because we're in a restricted area looting stuff around NPCs. There's some below us and everything else, and therefore we are now gaining stealth XP as we do this. Once you've looted in here, we can go ahead and exit out of the same ladder. Again, make sure nobody sees you as much as possible. If anybody does see you, it's going to put a bounty on you, and therefore it's going to make it more difficult to continue later on. It won't make it impossible, and it will mean you don't want to come here for a while. And another good thing to check is this upper area. If there's only one person up here, we can actually get another stealth knockout, but we actually have two up here right now, and they'll hear each other. So we're going to leave those alone, and we are done for the daytime. So if you can get one of those on their own, go ahead, get a stealth knockout. If not, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to leave them. So at this stage, we are going to head back to the blacksmith bed, and we're going to sleep until it's nighttime because we want to get some more lockpicking done, and that is easier once everybody's in bed. We're probably going to get a little bit more stealth XP as well because we'll get a couple of knockouts as we're going around, and it will mean that we have a save after we've just made the progress that we've already made. And it's not enough to just make it dark. We want it to generally be past midnight. Usually there's someone up drinking until the early hours of the morning, and we need it to be as unpopulated around here as possible. Make sure you're fed so that we don't have any issues as we're going around. The blacksmith is kind enough to feed us for free. And now we are ready to get our first few extra bits of XP in the first area that we're going to be using. First things first, make sure you don't get seen at all during nighttime. If the guard sees you and then stuff goes missing all over the village, he is smart enough to put 2 and 2 together and say, hey, that guy was sneaking around last night and there's stuff missing everywhere. It must have been you. So at this point, we do not want to get seen by the guard at all. Even if he doesn't catch you directly stealing, he will report you later on. We're going up with the very first ladder that we had before, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to knock out the dice player. I always do knockouts. It's up to you guys if you want to do kills, but kills are louder. You know, you're more likely to get caught. We're going to take her key. Got plenty of groschen, some dice if you want them, and then you go ahead, get some more loot from here, but we can't exactly go around wearing women's clothes in this game. So, you know, no cross-dressing for you. Sorry if that offends you. I'm not sorry, really. So with that done, we're now going to try and get to the back end of the inn, because if we can get over there without being seen, there are a good amount of locks in the tavern we can get to. So we're just going to come on around right now whilst the guard is facing the wrong way. We're going to reach this back door, and then we have a very easy lock. All right, so a quick tutorial on picking locks then. On a very easy, the sweet spot always seems to be along the edge. So we need to find the sweet spot, press whatever your button is for moving it around, and we just follow it in a circle. It's fairly simple. On a harder lock, it can be in a bit more of a difficult position, but once it becomes in a position where it moves, you can reset the lock by leaving and re-entering again. That will change the position of the sweet spot if you want to try and find a more comfortable place to do it from. This, of course, gets easier and faster the more perks you have. Now, we're not going to get much loot in the tavern because a lot of the people in here are sleeping in groups. We're just in here to pick the locks and get the thievery experience so that we can get it ranking up. Don't bother going upstairs, that's full of people. We're just going to go ahead and leave now. We don't care about anything else in here, just the XP. We're now going to continue moving to the west, where we have another house, and we can just look over this fence where the guard doesn't normally see you, so we can see where he is. If he's close by, we kind of want to wait for him to patrol the other way, because we don't want him to look over here and see us while we're trying to pick locks. But I reckon we've got time there. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to pick this one first. Get into stealth mode, open the door. Now, once you're in a door, make sure you close it. If the guard walks by and sees this open door, the guard is, again, going to be smart enough to think, hey, something's going wrong there. I'm going to go and check on what's happening. So make sure you clear the door, and we're going to get another stealth knockout. So that's put us on 3 knockouts. You should have a stealth level up by now. If I've got one at 15, you've had at least one at level 5. So things will be getting easier from now. Again, we've got some silent hose here, which, you know, if you need them, they're there for you. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to nick this just because we're in a restricted zone, and that counts as us doing something in stealth. Close the door. Now, we have a key for this next door. You can make a judgment based on your situation as to whether or not you want to pick this easy lock, or if you want to use the key to get inside. We're now in a restricted zone. We can't do very much. There are about 3 NPCs upstairs and 2 in here. So I'm just going to show you. You should pick that lock, not open it. But just so you guys can see, there's people in here. You're going to come on in, grab this loot, open this door so you guys can see. Not much in here, but we do have a bit more loot there. Now, another thing to know is if there's someone sleeping next to a chest, opening it with a key is quieter than picking it. So if you try picking the lock while someone's sleeping next to it, that isn't going to work out too well for you. And as you can see, up at the top, we've got people sleeping. Notice when you get up the ladder, it does not put you straight back into stealth mode. So if I'd have started walking there, even with silent stuff on, I might have woken somebody up. So make sure when you get off a ladder, you take a second to drop yourself back into stealth mode. Now, I found the other side to not really be worth it. You can try to pick the pocket of the blacksmith's wife, but if you're just starting out right now and you're on like maybe 6 or 7 thievery, pickpocketing is just not very easy. The selector moves slowly and it's hard to build up time. So this is us done now with Tachov, but we do have our starter lockpicks and we've got our first few bits of loot. The next thing we need to do is we want to start upgrading our clothing. If you don't have very good clothing, we're going to go ahead and we're going to sort that out now. You should have the lockpicks to do this. this, and you should also have a bit of stealth building up, which means you can start taking out your first perks. Now, none of the early stealth ones really bother me. You're definitely going to want Silent Fiddler so that your lockpicking is now quieter, so you're going to wake less people up as you're going through. For our next spot then, we're going to Gellerhof, and we're actually going to go to the inn. This is where you should find that you'll be able to get some better stealth clothing if you haven't already had some arrive for you. If you haven't already, head to the inn itself, because you will want to have the bed here anyway, so you might as well talk to the innkeeper. We're going to go ahead, we're just going to go and make a save. It's unlikely that I'm going to have enough time with this evening anyway, because we're already on 4 to 5 o'clock. Once it gets past 4 o'clock, people start rising with the birds, so you really do only get a short time period where you're safe to go around grabbing everything. Make sure you've spoken to the innkeeper, purchase the room, drop all of the loot off that you've got and you're not going to be using into the chest, make yourself a save, and we're going to wait until the next day. I'm back at that time of day again, just before midnight, because obviously it's going to take me a little bit of time just to get out of the inn. But as you can see, there are still people awake downstairs, so you have got to be careful as you're moving around. There are things that you could pick in the inn, again, because it's the inn. People are just moving around all the time, and ideally, we don't want to upset people in the place where we would be looking to come and hide if we do decide to get ourselves a bounty. But that's ultimately up to you guys. I'm going to take you guys for some better stealth stuff so it's a bit easier for you to get around at night time. And for that, we're going to head to the bathhouse. I don't know what it is. There's always seems to be a maid that is bugged out somewhere around here. Some NPC that just doesn't seem to be registering what time it is. Usually they're frozen though, so just don't go near them and you'll be fine. So this here is the bathhouse. You can bring it up on the map if you want. We went straight past it to get to the inn anyway. And we're going to head inside. It's usually open. This is actually quest related anyway, so you should find that this is pretty straightforward to come on up, and you'll find that we have the chest right here. It's actually already open for me. Guess they don't relock it. You'll have to pick this open each time you come up. This one has relocked. Look. So if you want to get some extra loot and you're feeling brave, you could try to pick the dude's pocket, but I would suggest that we knock this guy out, take his key, and now if you want to grab some loot, there are chests in here, so you can just be quiet. You can get into this chest. Now, I haven't actually robbed that one before, so I'm going to test it right now. Usually, if you find the establishment owner and you can pick the key out of their pocket, they'll usually have 2, look. So, and this one actually has 3. I've not tested you before. So we're going to give this a go. This is experimentation right now, and you can see just how little time we get to do that. I'll go over the way this works when I'm doing it in a little bit more of a comfortable setting for myself. Was that the right key? It was. Well, some right stuff in there, we'll take it. Don't worry about that. I don't actually recommend doing that while your stats are low, but we actually got some perfume for a quest there. Sick. Just use the keys to open the chests, because that is going to get you additional experience. So from the bathhouse, you should have gotten most of the clothing that I'm actually wearing right now. All you need to do is go through your inventory, look for which pieces of clothing drop your noise of visibility down, and that's all you're going to wear. From here, we want to move to the actual proper part of Gellerhof, and we're basically just going to open all of the locks in these houses over there. So let's just skip forward a little bit. Being as I'm in a good position to show this, there is one guard patrolling all of these buildings right now, and there are plenty for us to get some lockpicking experience in. So we're going to come into this northern little section here, and as far as I could tell, he only patrols along the main road in the middle. So we should be pretty much all right to do whatever we want whilst we're in here. Up there are several NPCs, so if you want to do pickpocketing, you could go ahead and you could do that. But what I'm gonna suggest is, for the first round, we just go and we do all the lockpicking. Once you hit a little bit higher, maybe like Thievery 8, but I would suggest 10, you can actually come and do this same route, except for picking all of the different pockets along the way, and then expect to get really large stealth and thievery results. So we've got more doors here. There's absolutely loads, as you can see. We're going to go ahead, we're going to open all of them. Have a look inside each of the rooms. So if we come across an area where there's just one NPC on their own, nowhere near anybody, we should knock them out. I always feel bad when it's a woman, I don't know why. I am very sorry, but we need that XP. That's going to continue getting your stealth up, and we can go ahead, take a key as well. That's going to make it so if we come across a medium lock, we can still open it, get a bit of extra stealth XP out of it, such as this chest, some free food. Not really taking it for that, we're just taking it because it gives extra stealth XP as we're opening the chests. Don't bother with the ladder. 2 NPCs up there, but no chest, and we don't really want to be dealing with that right now. So we'll go ahead, it's all finished. But now that we have the key, it is worth it for us to go up into the loft of here now, because we'll get stealth XP for robbing the chests. So we come on up, grab this. That's just extra XP. If I wanted to, so if I wasn't doing a video right now, I could go ahead, get in here for some pickpocketing. I'd have to be really fast. And if he sees me, he's going to alert everyone. So just be careful about that kind of thing. But that's the first set of buildings done. We can now move on to the next one. So we're going to go over to the west over here for another group of buildings. Again, just make sure the guard does not see you at all. It's not the end of the world if he does. There must be like one guard here and one near the inn. So it's not like they're going to chase you around a lot, but we just don't want to wait it out if we don't have to. So as we come into this main area, I'll bring the map up just so you can see that we've just entered. On the left, this is actually another guard. So we're going to go ahead, dropping to stealth, open our way in. We'll knock him out, take all of his stuff. He should give you a key. Apparently he hasn't fully recovered from the last time we did this. That's going to allow you to open his chest for some extra loot. And then we can leave. We now have the key to everything. So that's going to mean, you know, if you come across a medium lock, you can now open them all. But anything that's easy and below, especially at this point, because your lockpicking skill should be starting to get into a fairly decent position now. Now we can head on into the main building. Pick all of the locks in here. Everything's all still open for me. I guess nobody locked it. Go ahead and we'll use the key on this one. It's just purely a stealth XP lock there. Too many people to try picking that chest. Into the living room, we've got another medium. So I guess we'll just take the free stuff. And now we can leave. So just be careful about being over encumbered. There are actually advantages to it. If you're moving around over encumbered, your vitality and strength is actually improving, which is obviously extremely useful, but it doesn't mean we can't run away if a guard does spot us. Just be careful. So with those two sets of buildings done, we're going to move on to this one now on the south side. Set yourself a marker if you need to. Drop into stealth. And now we're going to pick our way into here. Much like before, take a look at the lock. So we actually have a chest with an easy there. I think that's the first one we've seen all video. So you should, by now, have the stats to realistically get through an easy. We'll go ahead and we'll knock out the hired hand. Then we'll grab his key. Open the chest. Rob it because we're stealthing. Alright, avoid going up the ladder. That's going to be too many NPCs. We don't want to go up there. And that should finish Tachov. Provided you've done pretty well, you should be making your way up to Thievery 10 by now. And at 10, there's not really anything that we care about. It's not until 14 that we get the really powerful one, which basically makes it so that chain locking gives us additional stealth and thievery, which makes everything easier. And as you can see from my perks, until you get to level 10 stealth, we don't really start getting big bonuses there either. So just take whatever it is that you think is going to be useful to you. From here then, I'm going to suggest that we start heading south and we want to get to Semine. In fact, specifically, we want to get to the Semine lower mill, and that's where we want to get to. We're going to head all the way down there now. I know it's probably a bit of a trek, especially if you're carrying a lot of loot like me, but it is going to improve your stats. So let's just get that done. All right, I just want to point out that along this road, and I don't know why they put it right between two places where you're likely to go, there's such a high amount of like foot traffic. There's always bandits right here. So when you get to this point of Semine, take a right, and then we're going to come along the top of this cliff, and then we'll actually be able to walk down about here and just completely skip them. That should make it way easier. It's a really strange place to put like an always happening random account. You see the lights right there, look. So we're just going to pass on by those. Don't get caught by them. Once you get down here, if you haven't already, you want to talk to the miller. Usually, especially in the morning, Miller Crazel is going to be down in this corner right here. He's going to have quests for you, lots of things you can talk to him about. Long and short of that is going to be, if you ask him where you can sleep, he'll give you a bedroom up at the top of the mill. If you can't find it because you can't find it, all you need to do is come on inside and you go up the ladder. That's where your bedroom's going to be. There's going to be a chest up there, so you can drop everything off, get yourself back under weight again. And if you ask him about lock picking, there is a chest in the back here. This will relock itself several times, and I thought it would stop locking itself. It's relocked itself for me now, which is interesting. You'll have some lockpicks in there you can get, and you can just get yourself some practice. Very easy locks. Exhaust that until it doesn't lock itself anymore, and then you can go ahead and take the lockpicks next to it as well. That's going to make us very well supplied with lockpicks, and you should now have a decent amount of lockpicking experience. You should be realistically clocking at least 8 or 9, if not 10. Once you've gotten yourself to the point where you're ingratiated with the miller, we're going to go ahead and make it nighttime again, so we can continue ghosting our way around. We are now able to eat here for free, so make sure that we take advantage of that. We're going to make sure that we wait. Just a bit of a tip in case you guys don't know this. something that's a good idea is to wait until about 4 o'clock-ish. That way, we'll be ready to start sleeping, and then we can sleep to the point where it's nighttime and we're all refreshed when it comes to energy. So it's a nice, fresh evening, and we are now going to head into the lower part of Semine. We're not going to deal with all of this. You really want to have some good stealth stats before you start getting into the castle area. And we're going to take the same route back. We're going to completely ignore these bandits here. The annoying thing is we can't fast travel there. It would be nice if we could just skip them. But often, and I'm going to demonstrate it right here. Oh no, we actually got straight past it. Usually I get stopped by the bandits and it's majorly annoying. But getting up here actually puts a different problem on us. And that's that we still don't want to get seen at all by the guard. And we actually want to get down to the opposite end of Semine to get some extra lockpicking experience. The guard only really patrols the main road, so we could try and get some extra bits and bobs out of these buildings. Most of the doors actually face towards the road, which means if he patrols up here whilst we're trying to get some experience, there's a good chance he's going to see us, and that's going to be an issue. Let's see if we can get away with this one though. So if you're quick, you are able to get inside. Let's go ahead and we're going to do some lockpicking in here. I'll show you where I actually think the best place to get some experience is in a second, but just so I can show you guys what else we've got. Got another easy chest. I guess we should do that. Everything's still going well. Let's check what's up the ladder. Thing is, I don't think this is even a merchant. No, it's not. So there's not even going to be good loot in here. The good thing about the merchants is they have 2 keys. And if you can get both keys, usually you can get into the chest and you get some decent groschen out of it. This isn't even going to be good loot in here. So we're going to just leave this first building. I don't think it's a good idea. Some free XP, I guess, if you can manage it, but we don't want it. So I'm just going to run around the back of the buildings here. Again, we want to keep completely out of sight of the guards. We don't want any of them to see us at all. And so instead, starting from the southern end of the town, we want to take a left straight away. We're going to be naughty, and we're going to go into the bailiff's house. Now this, for some reason, always counts as getting caught. So just bear that in mind, that if you do this and it does happen, you are probably going to have to wait it out for a few days. But we're going to get this first door on the outside first. So just so you guys can see on the map, this was the southern end. We came up to the left and we're just going to be around the back. You can't get in from the front. He always has a guard there blocking the way into his garden. And they can patrol up, so just be careful. Make sure you double check in on yourself. So with that door, for extra bit of locking XP done, we're going to leave that. And then we're going to move on to his main door. We do need to make sure we're quick about this. There is a little bit of luck involved, so if you want to use the savior schnapps to make it a little bit more safe for yourself, feel free to do so. We're just going to pick our way in. And then we get another lock to pick here. Another lock to pick here. A nice easy stealth KO here. Sorry, lovely. They made me do it. She's got such a lovely shape as well. Right, we open this because it's easy. So you could use the key, but we're going to choose to get the experience for this. Close the door so nobody gets suspicious. 2 people in there, be careful. 2 people up here as well. But we should be able to use the key to rob that. Bit of extra stealth experience for doing that. Go and check the other side. Got another medium lock, so we'll just use the key. Another medium lock, we'll just use the key. I could probably do that because I have the skill, but I want to do the same thing that you guys should be doing just to get that extra stealth XP rising. Again, make sure you drop back into stealth. Grab all of his stuff. Close the door. And then we can leave. So that is the catch pole. If he catches you, he puts a very big bounty on your head. We're going to go back towards the southern end of the town, and we're going to skip over the road where there is a great merchant we can rob. I don't know if he's going to have reset for me, but I'll be able to show you around this guy's house anyway. And your stats should be rising to a very healthy amount now. I've gone up like 3 points in this video, and I started at like 13. 14, so you guys should be getting plenty out of this. But we're now in this area here, which is the saddler. This guy has some very valuable loot, and in fact some loot that you probably won't have yet, which is the important reason to be doing this, because he's going to give you a pouch that allows you to have 2 potions on, which is pretty significant. If you're feeling confident, you could try and get into the medium lock. That is going to be more thievery XP for doing that, but I'm going to recommend that we go ahead and grab the key. So we're going to come into the very easy lock here. close the door on the way in. Now this back room, I believe, has the bodyguard in. So we're going to go ahead, pick our way into here. Should be getting very fast at this by now. Nope, that's his main chest. Lockpick the other one. Where's his bodyguard? Here we are. So this is his bodyguard. We'll knock him out for some extra stealth XP. Grab his key just in case we want it for stuff, as long as some extra goodies. It's a very easy chest, so realistically we should 100% pick that because he is now incapacitated. Nothing in there that we should pick up realistically. We'll close his door. Into the main room then, and I'm going to hope that you've leveled your lockpicking high enough, or your thievery skill high enough, that we can now get into this guy's pocket. This is going to be your pickpocketing tutorial. So we're going to hold down the rob. What we're doing here is we're building up some time. Usually you want at least 10 seconds. You then need to skip around to the thing that you want to steal and back to the door. Each item that you get is going to get you Thievery XP. So if you can get even to the fish and back, that is going to get you XP. Now what you're going to notice is each time we do this, it makes it easier to be aware of it, right? So it's harder for me to build it up each subsequent time that we do it. And when you're first starting out, your movement for each item is actually going to be slower. So you really need to build this up. As you can see, if I just wait for a second, so give it a few seconds, like when I'm talking here, sometimes it can calm him down a little bit. But as you can see, 2 to 3 items, and he's just not having any of it. But a good way for you to get some extra XP before you take on him, we can go to the housewife over here, grab a couple of items like this, head on back out. We'll do the same again, get her key, because why not? It doesn't open anything extra, but it's just more experience when it comes to the thievery. As you can see, she's not having any of it again. Let's switch back to the saddler. There we are, he's calmed down a bit now. I'm going to get some extra items out of here, just for the experience more than anything. And you really want to get both of his keys. That's going to make it so that we can open this chest. Not really important, but also we're going to be able to open his main merchant chest, which is this one. It's going to make you overburdened to hell, but it is going to give you some really good loot. So make sure that you get that chest. That is the biggest, most highest value chest we can get right now. If you are feeling confident with the pickpocketing, feel free to at least take something out of this guy's pocket and this lady's pocket. And this is where you're really going to start cooking, getting that thievery skill up really, really fast. With that done, we're going to get out of here. Look at how fast that goes up now. Now, we 100% do not want to get seen at this point because we have stolen that much. You're going to be in the thousands. Like all of those saddles, that's going to be like 15,000 worth of groschen. I'm exaggerating, obviously. I'm going to head back towards the miller so that we can drop all of this off. And we're going to move on to Toskowitz after this. So I am going to basically walk down here a little bit, cross the road, come over this way so we avoid all the bandits, and then down to the miller. We've cleared out the bottom area of Semine, and so now it's time for us to do the big town, which is Toskowitz. This one's tougher. Overall, it probably doesn't give better income than Semine, but we're going to go ahead, we're going to do it anyway, just for the sake of, you know, we're going around different zones and not getting bored out of our minds doing the same thing over and over again. And realistically, you probably want to do this for like 2 laps-ish, and you'll have tons of XP, but I have got another place where we can go ahead and we can grind out a ton as well once we've done Toskowitz. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to get this done right now. We're going to fast travel straight in there. I don't have any robbery stuff on me, and we haven't committed any crimes, so it should be pretty easy for us to fast travel there. The only issue is when you fast travel in like this, if it's nighttime when you get here, they'll have already seen you, so you'll need to skip an entire day. But luckily, it hasn't worked out that way for me right now. I almost forgot to include this, but now that we're back in Toskowitz, it's time for us to talk about upgrading your stealth gear. There are 2 main things that I know about that are going to help you a lot. The first thing is the tailor. So during the daytime, if it's day when you get here, we're going to head on into his shop. It's very easy to find on the map, so I don't feel the need to keep on showing it. But we're going to come to Barter Shack, and he has a very specific item that I think most people are going to find useful. Now, of course, you can just come on all the way down all of his loot and see whatever it is that's going to drop your noise and visibility. Remember that I personally have a preference for noise, and that is what works for me better. But if something's going to not put your noise up and therefore give you less visibility, that is also going to be useful. But the most instant thing that should stand out to everybody is the Black Burger per point. This has such good stealth stats that it's ridiculous to not take it, and it only costs 15 groschen. Pick this up right now. Additionally, on my save, I also have these knacker's gloves. You get these by following the Miller's quest line. So it's up to you if you want to go and get these. It's only a minor improvement anyway, but the jacket that we can get from the trader is just too good to miss. The other unfortunate thing about this, there isn't a very good local save area, bed, or storage chest. The only thing that we have access to is this little shack right at the top end. The other issue with it is this thing takes a long time to restore energy. So the best thing to do here is to sleep pretty much straight away and just stay in it until evening. In fact, what, that's 7, we want to hit 12, so if I wait for 5 hours, that's going to be better. So we're going to get it so that we wake up at midnight. And if you're following along, we should have robbed that much food that being low on nourishment right now is just not an issue. It's also probably a good idea to drop some of the 21 beer. Man, we can have a good time right now. If you're carrying too much stuff because you got too much food, I guess that's a good problem to have. It's no real issue. I'm going to hopefully be able to rob all of this stuff in one go anyway. Oh dear, I hate something bad. All right, so for this next bit, highly suggest taking. It's only a little bit of poisoning, so hopefully that wears off pretty quickly. So you can see on the map here, we are between this little shack here and what is the rat house. Don't know if you guys know this, but that's kind of what that is. And this is the best place to kind of get in and out from, so long as you know where the guard is. So just be careful as you poke your head around. If he even catches a glimpse of us, he can report everything that we do this evening, and it is a hefty fine. I've had a 21,000 bounty on me here before. So just be a little bit careful. Now, the first place that we want to go is up the stairs here, and there is always a guard asleep up here. Now, we can't strangle this guy. I don't know what it is that triggers it, but if you knock this one out, it always triggers the guards to come up and check on him, and they always seem to find out that he has been knocked out. So we're just going to pickpocket his key, because, you know, we are now able to do that, and then empty the chest that is at the far end. Once that's done, we can now start heading down the stairs. Again, be careful. Use your ears and your eyes to make sure that there is no guard close by. And we're going to now rob this chest over here. So we're going to get on in. Don't try to pick this lock, because if a guard sees you really bad, and then we can go ahead and we can rob this very hard chest right here. We're going to try and do pretty much the whole town in one go. So, you know, we are going to end up being a little bit slow. Do your best not to make any noise. And it's at this point that I need to suggest that if it's available, you have the rodent perk. This is exclusive to Weasel Boy, but this makes it so that doors make less noise, and that is huge. Next up, we're going to head up to the top here. Head on in. You can pick this if you want to. This loot, so you can get at least one pickpocket on each of these guys. Doesn't even matter what we take, just take it. Just take anything. Make sure we get the keys from at least one of them. Apparently we still can't open that chest. I'm going to try and get the key for that. We'll open that one. I've got to hope the guard doesn't see the door, because I left the door open. Don't know. I got all the key things. We're not going to be able to open that next to that guy anyway. So let's close the door. We're going to head on through for a ton of loot here anyway. Make sure the guard does not see us at this point, because we can't run. We can't do anything. So it is a reset to the save point at this time, if it is. I'm going to take a save here because he's not seeing us, which is good. And then we're going to head on through. Again, don't pick this one. We want to get straight through this door. And then we're going to head on up the stairs. I'm going to use the key on this. If you wanted, you could get some more Thievery XP by stealing from all of these guards, but I'm going to choose to pass on by all of these nice and quickly. There's just so many in here that it's crazy. And now we want the door that's under the stairs. You could pick this door, but again, there's so many. If one of them hears you, it's bad. We're going to loot this chest. You can see all of my physical perks are starting to rise because we're carrying that much stuff. Now take a save before opening this door. And if you haven't done the quest, there is quest items through that way, but we're not interested in that. So take a save before opening this door. There is a chance the dude could see us, but I'm going to take the chance here, and I'm going to just close this door behind us. And then we're going to head out the same way that we came. Luckily, the dude that patrols is going the long way out right now, so that's perfect. And that is the riskiest part of this trip done. And we're going to head on out the back. Pretty much home free now. It's up to you how often you want to empty out, because obviously we are moving very slowly right now. The entirety of the time that we're moving with this heavy load on, it's going to be improving our stats anyway. But we are going to move into the traders area because we still have a good hour or two of in-game time to get some robbing done. So we're going to go ahead. It's not letting me up the step. I'm that heavy, it's not going to let me up the steps. Like, really? There we are. So we're going to get around, we're going to rob through this area as well. Once your stealth gets up to 10, all of this becomes much, much better. So we're going to go ahead, get this very easy lock done through this door, up the ladder, straight into stealth. Make our way along the top. We're going to dip our hands into this girl's pockets. Might as well get some extra out of that if you can get away with it. Bit of double dipping. And we can use the key to open the door. Don't knock her out because it's too loud. Go ahead, grab this loot. A bit more stealth XP. Look how many people are in here. You could pick all of these pockets. If you have the stats for it, you should absolutely be farming this right now. Dice is always useful, but I'm just showing you guys where all of that is more than anything. But you should be absolutely storming your thievery stat up right now. It's going to allow us to head downstairs, where we can grab loot from hired hands. And then we can just open this door. We don't want to be making noise at this time. We do want to get over to this guy, who is the merchant. Should have 2 keys, so we want to get both of those. It's 1. Could be difficult. We've got it. With that done now, we should be able to open this, grab stuff out of there, and then head towards the shop. Open the door. Now we can get into the back end of the shop. We should pick this because it's very easy. It's going to give us some free XP. And then we should be able to open his main chest in the shop, take anything else that you want out of here, close the door, and now we begin to make our escape. So we're going to head out to the north to start with. We do not want to head through these trees, but we do want to get to a storage chest. So that means we want to go up to Tachov. Hopefully we didn't get caught there in the past couple of days, because otherwise that's going to be bad. If you try and come through these trees, there's a strong chance you can get attacked by wolves, and we are not in a state for fighting. So we're going to head out to the north, take all of this stuff all the way to the blacksmith. If you haven't got amazing stats by the end of this video, I do not know what to tell you. So I didn't mean for this to turn into a just complete looting of the Trotsky area. What I want to do is, I think we're going to finish on where you can continue farming the thievery stat the best. 2 places where you can get really good loot from here. I would suggest the Taylor. It's very simple to get in there. We already did the hardest spots in Toskowitz. If you do the southern area, it's very easy to get in and out of all of those areas. It's not going to be difficult at all, but the rewards aren't quite as high, apart from the Taylor, because he does have some really good stuff in there. And the same thing can be said about the horse merchant in Semine. You can't loot the horse, but the trader goes to sleep in this building. You can go ahead and get his key in the exact same way we did before, and his chest is upstairs in this area right here, and he'll give very similar loot to the saddler that we already looted. But now what I want to suggest is that we can go to the nomad's camp to get pickpocketing. Once you have good stealth and good thievery skill, you can come over this way. We're going to fast travel there right now. You want to do it at around night time. We are currently in the day. You want to give yourself a few hours to get there, because there's nowhere that we can sleep over there, and we want to be rested before we do that. So let's make sure that we're in a good position before we go. So let's go ahead. We're going to wait a few hours first. We're going to sleep the rest of the time. Give us about 2 hours for us to get there. And then we're going to fast travel over to the nomad camp. If you haven't been here before, you can obviously do it manually, but I'm just going to try and do this the fast way. And the crazy thing about this area is there's only 1 guard, which we can probably take out when he's on his own. I haven't tried that before, so we're going to take a save first. And we're just going to knock this guy out. It's going to make it so it's almost impossible for us to get caught, because there's only 1. Go ahead, we'll take his key and his groschen. Doesn't have anything particularly quiet, so we don't care about any of that. And now, it's up to you. You can be as aggressive with this as you want, but we can go ahead and just loot our way through the camp. All right? There are tons of people just sleeping out in the open, so we just sneak our way in and pick everybody's pockets. I'm not going to go over every individual nomad, but some to note is the horse handler Mikolai. If we can get his key, his chest has some really, really good stuff for your horse. It sells well and is very, very good for stats, so make sure you don't miss that one. Don't miss Master Tomcat either, because we can get some very good stuff out of his chest. Just make sure you grab his key, and then we can loot his stuff if you wish to. We should get a ranker's key, as her chest has a ton of recipes in there. So if we go ahead and get those, we can now make pretty much any potion. And I'm actually going to suggest that we avoid Voivode here, because he actually has a quest item. And if we pick that up, that's actually going to fail the quest for us. So make sure you don't do that. And we can get a decent amount of groschen if we go further into the camp and get Fence Whitebeard's store keys as well. His chest is just behind him. on the other side of his cart. If you followed this video along, you should be such a smooth criminal now that you don't really get any bounties placed on you. But if you do, you get rid of them the exact same way you get rid of the stolen marker on your weapons. And it's basically just wait a few days, 2 to 3 days, and any bounty will be gone. And any item that was stolen will no longer have the stolen marker on it. You can see in my storage here, most of them are already gone. And that is going to conclude the video. I hope this helps you guys out, and I'll catch you all in the next one.